A single outfit has ignited a global conversation. What should have been a quiet humanitarian appearance has instead reopened a familiar debate about optics, symbolism, and the fragile line between private citizen and public figure. Meghan Markle's latest outing didn't just draw attention, it triggered questions about diplomacy, perception, and the hidden power of seemingly small choices. At first glance, the controversy sounds almost trivial. Clothes, a brand, a visit. But in diplomatic and humanitarian spaces, nothing is ever just surface level. Every detail speaks. Every visual sends a message. And sometimes, the message people hear isn't the one that was intended. During a visit connected to Palestinian refugees in Jordan, Meghan wore multiple pieces from Zara. On paper, it's an everyday high street choice. But online, the reaction was anything but ordinary. Critics quickly pointed out that the brand has faced boycotts from some pro-Palestinian groups, and suddenly, what seemed like a simple wardrobe decision became a global talking point. Now, whether those boycotts are justified isn't really the heart of the debate. The real issue many raised was awareness. Because when you step into politically sensitive spaces, even unintended signals can reshape the narrative. In moments meant to project solidarity, perception can overpower intention, and that's where the conversation gets bigger. Because humanitarian appearances, especially high-profile ones, aren't just about showing up. They're about precision, strategy, cultural intelligence. When working royals travel abroad, nothing is left to chance. Entire teams prepare for months. They research local customs, religious expectations, political sensitivities, even the symbolism of colors. From wardrobe choices to body language, everything is carefully choreographed to avoid diplomatic missteps. Those guardrails exist for a reason, which is why this moment sparked so many questions. What exactly was this visit? A private trip? A semi-official appearance? A humanitarian engagement with royal echoes? Because here's the reality, titles may change, roles may shift, but public perception moves much slower. Around the world, many still associate Meghan with the British monarchy, and when a royal title is used, expectations follow. That's where ambiguity becomes risky. Some critics argue that these modern, semi-official global appearances are trying to mirror royal-style engagements, but without the institutional framework that once supported them. No palace advisors, no diplomatic briefings, no layers of staff stress-testing every possible headline. And without that structure, even the smallest decisions can escalate fast. And it didn't stop at fashion. Some online commentary also focused on public displays of affection during the visit, with certain critics calling it culturally tone-deaf in a Muslim-majority country. Whether fair or exaggerated, the reaction reinforced the same core idea: context matters. Cultural awareness matters. Optics matter. Then came another layer: brand fallout. Some observers suggested that when political controversy collides with fashion during humanitarian work, it creates ripple effects. Suddenly, it's not just about the individual. It's about the hosts, the mission, and even the companies unintentionally pulled into the spotlight. But beneath all the noise, a deeper issue is unfolding. This isn't really about Zara, or a sweater, or a dress. It's about identity. A hybrid space that has no historical blueprint. Not fully royal, yet still introduced with royal titles. Not official representatives of the crown, yet still perceived that way by global audiences. And that gray area raises a difficult question: who carries responsibility when messaging misfires? In the traditional royal system, accountability is shared. Advisors absorb criticism. Institutions buffer mistakes. But outside that system, the safety net disappears. Which leads some critics to argue that stepping away from royal constraints also means stepping away from royal insulation. The very structures once seen as restrictive: wardrobe guidance, strict protocol, tightly managed messaging, were designed to prevent exactly these kinds of controversies. Without them, the margin for error becomes razor thin. But not everyone agrees with the backlash. Others see this as yet another example of relentless scrutiny, proof that every move is still magnified under an unforgiving global lens. In the era of viral reactions and algorithm-driven outrage, even minor details can explode into international debates overnight. And that may be the biggest takeaway of all. Because public diplomacy today isn't just about good intentions. It's choreography. Optics layered over empathy. Symbolism layered over substance. And when that choreography slips, even slightly, the internet reacts instantly. So now, the bigger question looms. Can these semi-official global appearances truly work without the structure that once defined them? Because if moments like this keep repeating, the stakes may rise far beyond a single headline, not just for the individuals involved, but for the institutions they remain connected to in the public imagination. Because in global spaces, perception doesn't just shape the story. Sometimes, perception is the story.